Area 12.
YouTube, Rumble, Big Max Dolluz here with another vlog. Hey, I'm doing a couple of vlogs to promote my book, The Prison Diaries by Maxwell Radcliffe. You get it on Amazon for $2.99, ebook. Check it out. It's $2.99. Come on now. You can afford to buy that. Support a new author, if you will. We're going to talk about how filthy and disgusting California state prison system is, and I'm talking about literally disgusting. This story is about CHINO State Prison reception. Now this takes place about the end of June 2019 to the end of September 2019. Now I'm sure if you don't know, prison reception is where you go to get classified, blah, you've heard all the shit. Basically you got to go to get medical checkup, you have to talk to a counselor and they figure out your status, and you got to get a dental visit, do your teeth and all that. 3 things before you leave prison reception is what you got to do. It's something that could take 3 hours, took me 90 days. So to give you the layout of this prison, when I first pulled up to this prison, it looked like a third world country type, Ecuador, Colombia. You're pulling up to the slums of the slums prison. There's old chain link, old brick and mortar building looking like Shawshank or something, just old, man. There's plastic bags caught in the barbed wire, and there's towels hanging like out the windows. It just looked old and crusty and dirty. So we're going to talk about Sycamore. The buildings, like the area, they're named after different trees, you know what I mean? There's like a sycamore, there's a madrone, there's a cypress, there's palm hall. I was in Sycamore East Side. Now to give you a layout of this, if you're facing the cells, it's 3 tiers high. The bottom level was for like old people, disabled people that couldn't like walk up the stairs easily, whatever. And then the next 2 levels were just regular inmates. And if you're facing the cells, it's like probably a dozen cells long. 1, 2, 3, a dozen cells on each level. And at the end, there's stairwell. Down here is where like the cops hang out and they hit the doors or whatever. And it's old, man, and it's not like you see like newer prisons where it's like cells with like doors and a window and shit. No, it's like old ass Shawshank shit where like the cell is just open. It's just bars, sliding ass fucking, just a sliding door like on a fucking old school chains and wheels and shit. Like it's fucking old, man. And it's the middle of summer. And if you're facing the cells behind you, there's like brick wall and just like busted ass windows. Some of the windows are busted, but the windows always stayed open. It's the middle of summer. The windows were open. It's open to the elements. Like if it's hot outside, that's exactly how hot it is inside. And it was middle of summer, hot as hell. And they got a giant fan at the end of each hall down by the stairwells on each level. Just a giant, it's like probably 5 feet tall, and they just blow air down because it's so fucking hot. Musty. Now the first thing that I noticed, the first couple of days I was there, the water was turned off. You couldn't use the toilet, no showers, you couldn't like fill up a cup of water or anything. That actually at Chow they had to give us cups of water to last us all day. Cup of water. You couldn't use the sink, couldn't use the toilet. And just fucking old, man. Everything old as fuck. So one of the main things is like the cells are small as hell. Obviously graffiti and all kinds of just like gangster shit all over the place. You're just walking into you're walking into a dirty ass alley, right? And you know, there's flies and bees and mosquitoes and shit because it's just open to the elements. Your cell faces just like outside pretty much. And with the water not working for the first couple of days, obviously it smells like shit because everybody hasn't been able to flush their toilet for a couple of days. And I'm like, this is fucking crazy, dude. And so my first couple days there, you're thirsty as fuck. It smells like a fucking sewer, like throughout the whole thing. It's hot and musty, and you can't, there's nothing you could do about it, man. And one of the things that was the fucking nastiest there is the cockroaches, man. The cockroaches were so fucking deep in that place that, like, you couldn't do, there was so many of them, you couldn't even do, you'd be sitting on your bunk and they'd just be like crawling up the wall, you know? And not just like a couple here and there, like it was just constant, just crawling in your cell, crawling up the walls, crawling on your bed in the middle of the night. You feel them on you, you fucking have to flick them off of you and shit. So much so, it was like a fucking joke that, like, my cellie at the time, he would take a cup of water and run a bead of water across the front of the cell because the roaches wouldn't, we figured out that the roaches wouldn't cross over the water on the ground. Like, they would come up to the water and then, like, try to, like, figure out how to do it, but they wouldn't. So he would make, like, a little wall of water so the roaches wouldn't crawl in. And that shit kind of worked, man. But it was still, like, it was so infested with roaches and ants that you, like, it was just never, it was so fucking disgusting, dude. And, another thing that, like, the crazy shit is, like, this place was so fucking old, man, that, like, the gate, the sliding gate on the front of the cell, you could actually derail it to where, like, in the middle of the night, after the guards were off doing whatever the fuck they were doing, dudes would fucking crack their cell, break their shit open off the, like, the track, just open their shit up and just start walking around. Like, so anybody could get at anybody at any time. Like, there's no it was so fucking old that, like, it was just some rundown. I don't even know why they had this shit closed, man. Like, and another thing I've heard about prison receptions is it's like sometimes you have like a day room and all that shit. This shit was 90 days of lockdown. The only time we came out was to go to chow, like early in the morning, get breakfast, get our lunch in a paper bag for the day, and then go back to our cell until dinner time. And you would have to do that every single day. We would have yard like once every couple of weeks, but it was so fucking hot out there and so bright that I actually had a hard time being out there because, like, my eyes are fucking sensitive to the sun after a certain amount of time, and I would seriously have to walk around with my hand over my eyes because I would get fucking headaches, and it would feel like if you accidentally get sunscreen in your eyes, that's what my shit would feel like. And dudes would be out there all day, and, like, I would only go out for half of the yard. They would let people back in halfway through the yard if you wanted to go back inside. I would do that even if sometimes I would just completely miss it. And that was when we had it. Other than that, you're locked down. There was no day room. There was none of that shit. You were in that fucking cell, man, reading. All you could do was fucking read and lose your fucking mind, man. Another thing that was fucking disgusting, we only had showers Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's it. That's the only time. And you would have to run around. It was all frantic and shit. They crack your cell. You would have to run down. There was a shower at the end of each fucking level, you know what I mean? And there was another side, had that same thing. Sometimes you would have to go over to the other side because the way they were rotating and shit, and you would have to hurry up. And inside, most of the time, the showers were clogged. So you would walk into like a little fucking shower. It's a one-man shower with a fucking gate on it and shit. You would stand there while your cellie's taking a shower. Then you go in, your cellie waits there while you take a shower, and then you guys go back. But the fucking drains were so clogged that by the time you would get to the shower, after one shower, there would be about 2-3 inches of water on the ground. So you're having to step around in this fucking water. We would be walking alongside the shower where there was like this little ledge and just kind of hang on the bars over into the shower so we didn't have to step down in a fucking literal puddle of filth. So fucking disgusting, man. because dudes are jacking off in there. One dude took a dump in one of the showers while I was there. That's in my other video, actually, of what not to do in prison. Absolutely fucking disgusting, man. And but the roaches, there was mice. We only saw a couple mice, but it was just the roaches, the musk, the filth. And it's like, this is one of those things where it's like, we can do better than that. Even dudes that are in prison, this shit is just unsanitary, literally unsanitary, man. And nobody gave a fuck. I said it before. I said it in my book. Like, they should just tear that shit down because it's fucking old. And actually, after a couple, there was an earthquake on the 4th of July, 2019. And that shit rattled that fucking place so hard, it sounded like it was going to just collapse anyway. Old, dirty, nasty, fucking third world country type shit. Chino State Prison, man. You get locked up. Basically, if you're in San Diego, the way that I looked at it, or the way that the way that I perceived it as, everybody from San Diego all the way up to basically just San Diego goes to Chino State Prison for reception, and then everybody from Riverside, San Bernardino, LA, they go up to North Kern. And I actually went back down on my little journey. I went through North Kern for a while, and everybody that was in that reception was there from LA, San Bernardino. There was a couple dudes in LA, from LA in Chino, but they were had already been on the main line and shit. So if you're from San Diego County and you go to prison, you're probably going to go through Chino reception. And that shit is fucking disgusting. So what else is there from Chino? Yeah, that's about it. Anyway, go get my book. Support your boy, Max Dolluz. Till the next one. Out.